So, Jonathan, the first question I have to ask is, how did you get involved in 50/50?
The script, Will Reiser, the screenwriter, wrote a script that was really amazing and that kind of was buzzing around Hollywood for a while, and I read it and loved it. And at the time, I actually wasn't ready to do another movie, and they kind of went forward with their process. And then in the interim, I actually had a couple family members who were battling cancer, and it made the script resonate that much more for me, and I just kind of rapidly chased it and wrote them a letter, a very heartfelt letter that I think they've referenced a few times about what it means to me and about how much what they do means to me, and eventually they succumbed and let me direct the movie.
When you got the script and when they succumbed and let you direct the movie, who was attached at that moment?
Well, Seth was attached, and James McAvoy was attached to play the lead role. And he later had to bow out due to a family emergency, and we scrambled and got Joe, who, at this juncture, I can't imagine anyone else having done it.
Well, so you were able to be involved in helping to pick the lead.
I was able to be involved in helping to pick the lead. Yes.
Right.
Joe was kind of once we knew that James wasn't going to pan out, Joe was kind of top of everyone's list. I've loved him since Brick and Mysterious Skin, and going through 500 Days of Summer. I just think he's such a remarkable, kind of accessible and smart actor that I was thrilled when he responded to it.
So when you got the script, as most directors tend to do, they like to put their mark on it. You said this was a great script. Were there any changes that you requested, anything that you wanted to add to it, especially based on some of the experiences you had with your family in between?
Yeah, I came on. We had kind of a very short prep time, and I came on, and when I came on, I would go over to Will's house. Will and I are. I mean, the other great thing about working with these guys is we're all kind of the same age. And so I would go over to Will's house and just kind of sit on his couch with him and talk through stuff with him. Yeah, there was some stuff that I just, as far as some of the character arcs and stuff like that I thought could be crystallized a little bit, and I just sort of sat there on my laptop surfing the internet, and I'm sure he hated it actually, because I was just like, he would type scenes and give them to me, and I'd say, what about this, and then he would kind of rewrite them accordingly, and he's, to his credit, he was very kind of, especially as a first-time writer, he was remarkably agile and remarkably patient with me, and I think some good came out of that, especially with the arc with Katie, is something that we worked on together, but it's the great thing about Seth and Evan is the script is this very fluid thing, and even though the original script Will wrote was I think remarkable, we were constantly kind of pushing ourselves to make it as good as possible, and Will was on set rewriting all the time, it was an incredibly collaborative environment as far as that type of thing went. There was a lot of improvisation as well when Seth was on screen. So it was, even though we started with this remarkable source material, Will wasn't so precious as to kind of, demand the letter of the word, and nor was I. I'm very, very much into people feeling like the script is a guideline and not to feel married to, specifics. That said, I think at the end of the day, the movie is the vast majority of the movie is not ad-libbed, but there are some great ad-libbed moments as well.
So, as a director, what are the moments when you're looking at these ad-libs and you're like, well, this isn't working based on how the script goes? Because sometimes somebody may ad-lib something that's amazing, and
most of the time it worked. Like I mean, especially with Seth, where it's like on every different take, if it's like, he knows kind of what the goal of the scene is, he knows what the general topic of conversation is, and within that, he can, on 5 different takes, come up with 5 different hilarious jokes. When it's not funny, I think everyone just kind of agrees, I'll just come up to him and be like, and I'll be like, yeah, let's do this one. But there's always an alternative to it. So, when it's not working, it's generally kind of pretty apparent to everyone, or it's just apparent to me and I'll let them do it, and then I'll know in my brain that I'm going to cut it immediately.
We won't be using that scene. And then what about Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Does he stick more with the script, or is he also trying to ad-lib once you have somebody who's on the set like Seth who ad-libs a lot?
He's very comfortable doing both, and I think the great thing about him is, in his scenes with Seth, whereas I think, it might be an actor's instinct to kind of go toe-to-toe with him on improvisation, he stays so true to the dynamic of their friendship and what their friendship will be like in real life that he's very reactive in those scenes until the third act when he takes a little more control of his life. But he can ad-lib reactively better than anyone, and he can also, one line in particular was improv by Joe, and I just thought it was so great. It's when he's toward the beginning of the third act of the movie, he's in the office with Anna Kendrick, and he ad-libs this thing where he says, everyone says it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine. I just wish someone would say you're dying, and they would just be honest about it. And on either side of that line is Will's writing, but that one little moment is something that he invented, and it's such a gift to have someone to be able to do that, and especially just weave it into the scene and not make it feel kind of showy or he's doing it for the movie. He's doing it because he's a smart actor and he knows it's right for the scene, and it's really cool.
And where did you shoot the film?
In Vancouver.
And how many days did you have for it?
28.
Wow. Did you feel like you had another 3 weeks there?
I mean, I'm kind of used to it, man. That's kind of like 28 is pretty much what I've always. On my first movie I had 20. My second movie I had 28. This movie I had 28. It's fine, nothing's blowing up. There's no car chases. It's just people talking, and you get it done. You get it done, and you never want the actors to feel like they're rushed, and they don't. As long as you're doing your job and you're prepared, you can definitely make a movie like this in 28 days.
So the questions always love.
Yes, I would have liked 3 more weeks.
That's for the next film that you're doing. How many days do you have for
right.
the upcoming film that you're in pre-prep for?
On this film, I have 10 weeks, which is crazy.
That's great.
It's amazing.
See,
great.
You doubled yourself just by this conversation.
I just doubled. Yeah, double down.
So the question I always like to ask, because it's always interesting to hear the different answers, is what was your best day on the film? The day where you were just like, I can't believe this, it's amazing, it's all working, whatever. The first day, somewhere in the middle, it doesn't matter. And of course, conversely, what was your worst day where you were just like, yeah, I got to get out of here?
This is a good question. This is going to take me a second. The best day. I think I have to say that I really enjoyed the shooting the bar stuff. The night that they go out to the bar, and Seth is sort of using Joe's sickness to try to pick up girls. It just, to me, it was, it's always fun to kind of get out into a new location, and it felt very funny and very real to me. And I just, it just felt like our movie. I remember, we got to this bar location, and it was a bar picked specifically because it felt like a place these guys would go in real life. It didn't feel like a bar in a movie. And what they were doing didn't feel like they were in a movie. It felt like, fresh, and it was just, for me, it was just a really, really fun day. I mean, the other version of the best day, and it's hard to call it the best day because it was, it's an incredibly emotional day, was when we shot that hospital scene where Adam is about to go into surgery, and just watching what these incredibly remarkable actors were able to bring to the material, and just, literally just sitting there and watching them. And feeling so blessed to have this gift that of what Joe and Angelica were doing there, and that was a very, not a happy day, but a day where you're like, this movie's gonna be cool, and that's always really, really fun. Man, as far as the worst day, it's hard. There were a lot of really good days. It was really like, it was like making a movie with your friends. It was like making a movie that everyone was really kind of excited and felt like they were doing for the right reasons. but there had to be a bunch of bad days. The worst day. I don't know. I don't want to blame this dog. This dog was awesome, but the dog was kind of a pain in the ass. That's all. The dog was amazing. I loved working with the dog. But the thing about the dog is, the dog really, it's not a trained dog. Like, I don't think there's like a lot of, there's a big call for like trained greyhounds. So it was like twins, these twin dogs, and they just wouldn't always kind of do what you wanted them to do. So that was a little frustrating. I don't mean to disparage greyhounds. And the dog who plays Skeletor is just exceptional. 2 dogs, Denver and William. I'd like to give them a shout out.
I will make sure that they get their shout out. Well, Jonathan, I really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. No, thank you for your time, and I really hope the movie does well. I absolutely, I love Seth Rogen. I think he's hilarious, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is just the inch away from becoming an A-list. So that must have been a ton of fun for you to work with.
Yeah, he's great. He's awesome.
Cool. Well, I appreciate.
All right, man.
Jonathan.
Pleasure talking to you.